going to talk a little bit about compulsive exercise versus joyful movement. Exercise continues to be the hardest challenge of my recovery by far. When I can't turn to restriction, I turn to exercise as a way to cope with anxiety and a lot of unchanneled mental energy. This is part of the reason why idle time is so intimidating to me, why it's such a challenge. I feel the urge to fill it with some form of movement. The more calories it burns, the better. But it's not only about burning calories. It's a compulsion. It's like a drug. I'm addicted to it. That's all I know how to do sometimes. It's also very tied to my self-worth, which I partially blame on just the culture that we live in. Physical exertion is tied to success, much like being thin is tied to success. Our society puts so much emphasis on being physically fit and active, or else you're viewed as lazy and unproductive. And it's tricky because movement is such a natural part of our lives. It's very important. It's a very important part of our lives. It can be a lovely way to explore the world and see what your body is capable of. From movement, we can derive more energy, more happiness, relieve stress, extend our lives, and lead us to be more active and able as we get older. But compulsive exercise is not those things. It's not about those things. It's self-punishing. It's manic at times. It's detrimental to our bodies, actually. For me, nothing really gives me the same high as working out. And I don't mean that in a positive way. It's not a healthy high. It's literally like a drug high, one that no other experience can really touch for me. And that's why I struggle to fill my time with something other than movement, because nothing really makes me feel that same rush. It's like an abusive relationship, and one that I'm still trying to unchain myself from. It's a combination of our society and diet culture, but also my own self-loathing and self-harming tendencies, and also just the wiring of my brain. My brain has learned that stillness is dangerous in some way. And there's a word for this. It's actually called like a migratory response, because our reptilian brains, when they register a stress factor in the environment, it will send out a signal telling us to move away from that place, like literally move, literally run away and keep moving until we sense that the stressor is gone. But in this modern world, in the way that we currently live, the stressor doesn't leave, and we're left with the message to keep running forever. In order to overcome this, you have to train your brain to understand that there is no longer a threat to your survival. This takes a lot of work, and obviously I've been pretty unsuccessful at it thus far. But I'm going to keep trying. With learning to nourish myself properly, encouraging myself to rest, doing meditation, quelling exercise urges with something more joyful like yoga. I hope eventually to make these just violently strong urges to exercise eventually subside. So here's your sign. Here's your sign to take time to rest. A good rule of thumb is that if the thought of not exercising makes you freak out, then it means that you probably shouldn't. And that's opposite action at work. That's a good example of opposite action right there. And give it a rest. You'll learn that if you do, you'll be okay. I aspire to have a kind of I can take it or leave it attitude towards exercise. And I want it to be a healthy relationship in my life and not one that's abusive, because we all deserve the chance to have joyful movement and not be scared of it, whether of doing it or of not doing it. Like, it's not something that should incite fear within us. It should be a way to honor our bodies and honor all that they're capable of. So yeah, that's just kind of a word on compulsive exercise. It's hard to understand because a lot of people just assume that if you exercise a lot, then that automatically means that you're healthy or fit in some way. But sometimes it means the total opposite, and your mental health really goes by the wayside as a result, and that's not healthy. That's not holistic health. So I think that's just an important thing to keep in mind, is focus on holistic health, and don't fall for these tricks that your brain sometimes plays on you, or that society sometimes plays on you, that you have to be moving all the time. So, because you don't, you deserve to rest. I deserve to rest. And I need to remind myself of that more and more. So, anyway, hope everybody has a good day.